You know what I wanted to talk about was the 3 stages. So can we regarding the 3 stages of staging.
Right.
The first one was consultation.
That's right.
What's the second one? Well, obviously.
So after the consultation and the
Stage.
report, yes, that I give to the client, then it's the
What's
actual
approved?
stage. Exactly. Then it's the actual stage. So then it's the realtor saying to me, okay, what date are you available to stage? Let's get in there. And based on the timing, they have to book the photographer as well. So we kind of work hand in hand with that. And the staging, depending on the size of the home, could be 4 hours, it could be 8 hours. It really
Usually
just-
one day?
But it's all in one day.
It's always
in one day.
really?
I will
So
never.
it could take you 12 hours and you have to stay.
I will stay. I would rather do that
Then
than
come
split it up,
back.
because it's harder on the homeowner. It's harder on me. Like we said, I'm a mom with 2 kids. Like,
Yeah.
I need to kind of have my priorities and,
Of course, yeah.
and just get it all done one time. And I also want to book other stages.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
So and have to have available dates for that. So I do it in one day, whatever it takes. And then
I'm just curious. Are you moving the furniture?
so I
I wanted to know if you had a dresser on your shoulder. And you're, mom too, business owner. You know? How strong are you? I was thinking,
yeah,
right?
no.
So
yeah, and then the third stage is obviously the D stage, and that's when everything has been sold, and I come in again on a date that is agreed upon with the homeowner, and just remove everything.
okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was curious while you were speaking. I was thinking, where does the word staging come from? What is it? Do we know what it means? Do we know why they do that? Is that for drama
It's
or
drama.
film, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's where
it comes.
So a stage
To stage to
make-
dress.
to dress it
to
up,
dress.
to make it look presentable. Yes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. when
Yes.
We were talking. I was like, theater.
Exactly.
That's what I had thought. Yeah, theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes
Well,
sense.
well-
But I'm gonna look into that anyways. Cause
I did that.
yeah, I want to make sure.
know what that means.
Yeah, I don't want to be on record for thinking something that wasn't the case. Okay,
Yeah.
so 3 stages, very straightforward: consultation, stage date, and removal.
That's it.
Now, I've had a case where something's been damaged:
Yes.
scratched floor, nicked wall. How do we deal with that? I'm an agent. I'm gonna get the call.
Right. And then the agent will call me.
You know, then I have to consider, was it there before? You know, what's it going to cost us? Who's responsible? We have insurance.
Right.
You have insurance,
Right.
I'm assuming.
Right.
So how do we handle that? How does that get handled?
So it depends. So, I mean, when the home is staged, you can see if there's, that day you're going to see. Is there
You
any
take pictures?
damages? I take pictures
Okay.
all the time.
Yeah.
Are there any damages that happen?
And you take pictures of your furniture, obviously.
So the pieces
Okay.
to see what I've also put in there, accessories, things like that, because I've had funny situations where kind of people try to hide
Yeah.
things from me, and
It happens. It
you
happens.
know, and then so it's just like, where is the home? Okay, we have it here.
What if
but-
something's damaged?
But so again, so you're going into the home staging, you can see if anything's going to be damaged. Oftentimes, the homeowner's with me, so they'll know if it was me or
Right.
my people bringing it in. And if it was during the process, that's no longer the
No.
stager's issue at that end because it's during the process. So now that might be someone coming in.
You're saying during while it's staged.
While it's
After you leave. Okay.
right after we leave and all that's done, and if everything's good, then that's it.
Yeah, if something gets damaged or
Something gets damaged during the process, which I've had maybe someone walk in and they touch something and it falls, right? And I'm talking about during showings, right? Or someone walking in with their shoes and dirtying a carpet, or stains, things like that. Then that obviously is no longer the stager. Now it becomes a realtor issue and homeowner issue.
Okay.
And then that's a discussion between you two.
But they don't happen very often. I've had them maybe
Literally,
once.
I've had it happen once.
Yeah,
And that's it. And I've literally eaten the cost for
it's usually what happens.
that.
Yeah.
Because it was something very small, and I'm like, just don't worry about it because it was mine.
Right.
Sometimes I'll have to rent furniture, and that
Really?
becomes an issue. And why do I have to rent furniture? Well, because there's so many stages happening, and there's only
And you
so
ran out,
much
right.
Right. So I have to rent. So now that becomes a different issue.
Wait a minute.
Because-
Wait a minute. Where's this furniture come from? You have a big warehouse and you just walk through and pick what you want?
And I pick what I want.
Really?
Yeah.
I would love to see that. That would be like Yeah, I just picture an open warehouse with
Yeah.
everything on the floor
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
in lines
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
and go pick your stuff.
When it's not busy, it's in lines. When it's busy, it's like, okay, here, let's grab.
Sorry, yeah, renting furniture.
But then if you have to rent furniture, which happens sometimes, or if you don't have the right piece that goes well in the home, right?
Okay.
So you have to look, 'cause I'm all about that. Then, that there's an issue with that too. But usually, if it's being set up and something happens during that process or removed, that's the stager's issue. Anything in between that,
Yeah.
that's something with the realtor and the
Okay.
homeowner. Yeah.
But they rarely happen, and
Like I said, one time.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Of the homeowner and how
You're right. The emotional process and how I was talking about those stages for agents. For businesses, it's a little simpler. You get one sale and it's over. Whereas for agents, it's so many steps where we can kind of disappoint, or that we're measured on for experience. That we were talking about that.
because even me going in, to be honest with you, in a home, it's even though they know the staging's happening, it's still that emotional process where they're saying to me, do we have to remove the pictures? Can we keep one? Do we have to remove the cross? Can we keep this? And it's reassuring them that we're not taking this away from you. We're not here to disrupt your life. We're just trying to make the home look appealing to everybody of any religious background, just because if they see.
You're trying to really be empathetic and,
Not them.
make them understand the approach.
Make them understand. So it's sometimes I kind of work with them just like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to keep this picture. What we're going to do is we're going to just put them away into your drawers when people come in your home, and after that, let's put them back, right?
That's smart.
Let's keep some pieces.
Men aren't that patient, right? Sometimes, like that takes a lot of practice for men to do that, right?
I know. But so it is. It's a huge emotional process for people, especially when they're older.
So how about here's a good one. What's a horror story we can talk about?
A horror story.
Yeah, you and an agent and a consumer, something you've experienced that didn't go right, or
With what I've done, or with
both. With your experience on a, or not really horror, just.
Well, I'll tell you, there's nothing that's been a horror story, so
Right.
I don't want to talk about that. But what I'll tell you. I'll tell you the story. It happened to me 2 months ago.
Okay.
And I went to a home and I started nailing into the wall.
Okay.
And the homeowner comes to me and goes, I'm putting a mirror up. What do you mean? Why are you nailing? Can't you put it with 3M tape? I'm like, well, it's not gonna hold with 3M tape. Oh, what if you damage something? What if there's a wire behind there? What are you gonna? You're gonna be responsible. And I said, no, I'm not gonna hit any wires. I said, I'm not gonna damage anything. Well, just so you know, you're gonna be responsible. And I said, okay. I said, don't worry. I said, nothing's gonna happen. So he walks away. I go into the other room and I start hammering. All I hear him saying is, she's going at it. She's just going at it. I'm dying. Like, I'm really dying.
He's like cringing, probably.
He's cringing.
Yeah.
I'm dying of laughter. It almost became a game. I'm like, I'm waiting for it. I'm like, tick, tick, tick. And he's like, oh my God, what are you doing now? Oh, yeah. Tick, tick, tick. And he would literally walk into the room every time I was in a different room, and he would creep. And I'd hear the floor creeping, and it was a game. And I would just.
He's proud.
And he'd look at me, and he'd like run away. It was just.
He's proud of ownership,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't
Yeah.
want his stuff touched.
Yeah, but it was funny. It was funny. So I never had anything really cringing, but
We started talking in the beginning about the agent who, the client who didn't want to sell, who's hired to stage.
so that So I don't really think that was it, but it was emotional.
That was an emotional experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that emotional experience.
Okay, so the client, I went to do the consultation, and
So an agent hired you, consultation.
did the consultation, went through everything. She seemed really receptive and during the consultation, but then the next day she called me and she said, I'm not ready. I can't do this. So I told her to speak to the agent, and the agent would be okay with it. Like, this is your journey, your process. So when you're ready, we're here for you. So a week and a half passed by, and I did not hear anything. So I thought, okay, she decided not to do it. A few days after that, I get a call to stage the home. So I did. She loved everything. But 2 days later, I get a call to remove everything. So I didn't know what happened, and she basically just told me that it was too emotional for her, and that she was upset because she had lived in the home for 40 years, And she wanted to be able to tell the neighbors what was going on, that she was selling, that she was no longer going to be here, and the sign
Went up first.
Went up first.
Before she had the chance to.
before she had the chance. So she was already having reservations, and I think when that...
They weren't in sync.
Yeah.
The client and the agent.
And I think when that sign went up, it just really hit her hard, and she just couldn't do it anymore. So exactly, her and the agent were not in sync, and I think that's a conversation that the agent and the client does have to have at the beginning.
Well, yeah, if the agent finally got to the listing, got to that point to call the stager and do all this, and then go pick up your stuff, like he's not paying attention. Like, something's off because it got to that point.
Exactly.
So,
so she just wanted it out, and she just didn't want anything to do with it anymore. So yeah, that was my only experience, something like that. But for me, I become almost like a therapist when I get someone's home, because it is an emotional experience for a lot of people. Other people don't care. They're just like, get this stuff out of here. We got to list it.
It's not therapy. It's understanding.
It's an understanding.
It's listening.
People have to be empathetic.
Understanding, and really knowing that person is having emotions.
Yeah.
Is understanding that that's possible, that exists. You
exactly.
know.
And I'm sure that homeowners bring that up at one point or another.
They do. The thing is with real estate agents, how real estate kind of works, and it hasn't changed much in the last 50 years, but how it works is the agent does everything.
Right.
So the agent is the marketer, it's the salesperson, it's the business owner, right? So they're taking on way too much per agent.
Right.
So if it's very hard, you only have 24 hours in a day, right? So you wake up, you had your 8 hours of sleep, and the rest of the day, you can only focus on so much that you can retain. So if you're focusing on selling and you're focusing on getting the staging ready and closing the client and signing the client, where's your focus to listen for empathy? Where's that moment that you have to catch yourself and say, hey, I need to listen more, or I need to understand. It's sometimes hard.
But I think that if you're going into this,
you got no choice. You got to do it.
You have to do it.
You have to do it.
And you're dealing with so many different people. Like, I'm sure.
Or let's say it needs to be done.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to do it yet, because I don't believe one person can do it all.
Right.
It needs to be organized. Services in real estate should be organized where they take that responsibility away from certain people to leave them responsible with other people, so that someone's responsible for the experience. I think we were talking about experience before. Experience in real estate, it's tough to get a good experience from someone, like the review.
Right.
And the reason is because, you do staging. You send a consultation, you send an invoice, and we pay it. Have a nice day. With real estate, it's finding the person. It's, getting them or selling them on your service. Because we don't sell homes. We facilitate services, sales. So it's getting them to sign up on a contract.
Right.
Okay? Then it's getting them to that point, whether to buy or whether to get the listing ready, do this. So every step causes a different experience.
100%.
And it can be ruined at any point. They can say the sign. The gentleman, the agent put up the sign too early. Ruin the whole experience.
Right.
So at any point from when you meet them to when the transaction closes, we have so many areas we need to cover. And finding a way to control the experience at every avenue is super hard. And there's no chance one person can do that.
Right.
No, there's no one agent.
Right.
But
that's where I think when you find your team, you stick with your team.
Correct. It has to be a team helping out. It has to be certain people have certain responsibilities.
Exactly.
So that way, together.
Yeah. So I think, like, even me, I know that I have one agent who actually likes sending me to her older clientele.
Okay.
And the reason being is because I take the time and I sit with them and talk with them. Like, even if I'm past my hour, it doesn't matter to me. I'll sit with them and I'll talk with them. And then she knows that she needs that type of person, right? And then she has a specific painter that she uses. And I think that that's what you need, is that you get your team. It's like finding a good hairdresser. It's like finding a good doctor. And you stick with that team that you know is going to represent you well. That's going to be the face for your
that you trust.
That you trust.
That you trust with your best interest.
Yeah.
With your interests, not with their interests.
Exactly.
It's tough for the mind to do that independently, to be both people.
Exactly.
Sometimes, right? But once you said you have one agent that sends you to older clients, I was curious, how many men actually do staging?
I actually have.
Because I've never met one.
I actually have more men than women.
Really?
That I work with, yeah.
Huh.
Yes, I have more men than women that I work with. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like competitors, like other stagers. Other stages, what I'm asking. Like other businesses who do
I'm
staging.
sorry, realtors, I thought you meant.
No. I meant like staging companies.
Mostly women.
Mostly women.
Mostly women. There are a few men. There are, but there's mostly women, yes.
Huh.
Yes.
Interesting. Because I thought about that. I'm like, women tend to be more in tune with their emotions, right? They actually have them in their, society accepts them using them, right?
Yeah, DNA.
It is, well, it's just, the way it kind of goes right now, right? But, so a woman may be more or less, more empathetic, more understanding. Great.
Right,
I can get out there and I'm great.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And it depends who you're dealing with. A man's guard may an older man's guard may come down with you more than me.
Right.
I'm still wearing the suit jacket, right? So, they still have, the biases and notations.
Yeah.
So,
But that being said, there are homes that I've gone into and I felt very uncomfortable.
Really?
I felt very uncomfortable, and I've kind of wanted to get out of there. When I stage, I come with a team, but when I'm doing a consultation, I'm on my own.
So I've been like, ever since I started this entrepreneurial path with Agents of Real Estate, I've been writing down notes for how things could work or should work. And, just respectfully, the way I was raised, I don't believe anybody should go into a house alone. I don't believe a woman should go into a house alone. Someone should be with them. I don't believe a man should go into the house with just a woman home.
Right.
If both parties to the household aren't there, there's no need to go in. You're not going to get a contract signed anyways because both people have to sign.
Right.
So it's like I don't know where to touch on that.
But it doesn't always work that way. Like I've had.
Everybody's got to hustle. Yeah. Everybody's got to work. What are we going to do?
Realtors that have come with me, and I've had many times I've gone on my own, and
well,
I'm okay with it.
At least for safety, call the office.
Safety, but
Send an email to the office saying, hey, I'm entering a home, or I'm here, I'm doing something. It's for safety and for respect too, right? Agents don't really have a badge on them sometimes, right? They don't have an indication that they're an agent. So a guy in a suit, a gentleman in a suit, knocking on a door, coming out of a woman's home is not, might not be very respect. I know, very traditional, very old school stuff,
I'm old school too.
But it's just sends them. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. No, I get it.
It's too much for.
Yeah. But like I said, and that was the case for me. I felt uncomfortable sometimes with certain people.
Yeah.
That I kind of just, I'm in and out. And I just.
And you left.
And I'll tell the realtor, like there's one time I told the realtor, I'm like, I don't know, like if I'm going to stage there, I need someone else there because I just
felt uncomfortable.
Just didn't feel right with that person, right? So, whatever it was, it could have been nothing at all. It was just a feeling.
Right.
But it could have been that person had a bad.
You know what?
It
Trust
was
your
in a bad
instincts.
mood that day or whatever the case was. But it hasn't happened often at all. But
okay. So what areas do you do most? Everywhere.
Oh my God,
GTA.
I've gone to Georgetown. I've gone to Innisville, Vaughan, Toronto.
Everywhere.
I'm everywhere. Niagara Falls. I'm everywhere.
And we've noticed we see things slowing down. Different. We see things different. Not. I don't know about slowing down, but definitely slowing down from peaks of just never-ending sales.
Right.
How do you see things? Are you still busy?
So October has been insane.
Okay.
Insane. And I think that this year is very up and down because of the mortgage rates up.
Correct.
So it's been a different year. Like I didn't expect October to be like this because it wasn't like this last year. But
how did you find August?
August was a little bit slower.
So you're on the real estate trend. You're on the real estate wave.
Yeah. So it was a different year, and I think it has a lot to do with what's going on with the mortgage rates because the mortgage rate hike goes up, people pull back.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, nothing else happens. So it's like, hey, let's get it.
There's tons of emotion and sentiment and so many things around it. Okay. So it affects everybody.
But yes. But this October has been a little bit crazy.
Okay.
But I think spring and fall usually on a norm are the times when people want to put their houses for sale, right?
Yeah.
So, but like I said, it's like you said, it's an emotional process with all this.
I say real estate's like casinos and hospitals. It never closes.
Yeah.
It's open every single day.
Right.
We've sold properties at Christmas, New Year's, whatever day it is. It doesn't stop. Doesn't sleep.
I tell people the right buyer at the right time. Like any house can sell, right buyer at the right time, right? I've had people like I've come in after the fact sometimes too when a house has already been up for 30 days, let's say. And then the homeowners are saying to the realtor, what else can we do? And then they call me after the 30 days and says, this hasn't sold. Can we get it staged? I can take pictures again.
You know what? Sometimes the buyer just isn't in the market yet. Your buyer, that buyer you've been looking for that price point, he may have come in 35 days later.
And that's
they
what
may
I
have
tell
come
them.
in, you know?
Don't panic, even if I come in.
You know that-
Don't panic. We're gonna
That's
make
how the
this house
market.
look
That's
good,
how the market works.
But your house will sell. It will sell.
Yeah.
But
Everything sells with patience and priced properly. Price is a big thing.
that's the thing.
Price is huge.
If the house looks good and it's priced well, they go ahead.
But you know the cliche, like we tell customers, you know, we gotta try lowering the price, and they always think we just want to do it. That's the main thing. There's not much more we can do unless you want to wait. You know, patience and but there's costs associated too, right?
Exactly.
So that begets that question again. You know, do you pay for staging for the client when now, hey, I can't? Do I advise them to wait and I have to pull the staging out and then redo it and go with another agent, or do I advise them to stick with the listing? Just lower the price. You know, there's.
Yeah. But then again, you also agreed when someone looks at the MLS picture,
Yeah.
staged home always looks better.
Staged home always looks
right?
better. So yeah, it's.
So it's.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of variables that we can't actually know the answer to everything.
Exactly.
Okay, so for another day, senior relocation services.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, we'll get into that.